Hello, dear students. Today we are going to see the introduction of Python programming language. What is Python? Python is an object-oriented, high-level computer programming language which was developed by Guido van Rossum in 1990s. It was named after a British TV show, namely Monty Python's Flying Circus. So this programming language does not have to do anything with the Python. Okay. Now we'll see some specific features of Python. Python is free. It is open source distributable software. Python is very easy to learn because it is having a simple English like syntax. So that is why it is comparatively easy to learn in comparison with the other programming languages. It is easy to read also. Python is said to be as batteries included, means it provides a large standard library for easy integration into the programs. Python is interactive. It is having a terminal for debugging and testing the snippets of code. Python is portable. When we say the word portable, that means it can run on wide variety of hardware platforms and has the same interface on all the platforms. Python is interpreted. There is no compilation required. Python is high level and it has automatic memory management. Python is extensible. That means it allows the addition of low level modules to the interpreter for customization. Python is versatile as it supports both procedure oriented programming as well as object oriented programming. Python is flexible. It can create console programs, Windows GUI programs, and CGI scripts to process web data. Now, how to download and install the Python? For installation, we have to download and we have to go to the website python.org. Now, for our syllabus, we have to choose the version 3.0 and above. It depends upon your system also. For example, if you are having Windows 7, then you should not download anything beyond 3.4. Okay, because it will not be compatible with your system. Whereas Windows 8 or Windows 10 users can download Windows uh, Python 3.6 or 3.7 or even above also. Download the installer and run it. Now, the installer which you want to download will depend upon the your operating system. Whether your operating system is 32-bit, in that case, download the x86, or it is 64-bit. In that case, download x64. On the first screen, now this is very important. On the first screen itself, you are going to get an option to add Python to path. Please do not forget to choose this option. That's what you have to do is tick. Okay, it will make your life very easy. How to start Python? So the first method is Windows key plus R, then type Python and press enter. So when you do this, what will happen? The console will open. So Python will open in the command mode. Next option is go to programs and select IDLE, Integrated Development Environment. Now there are two ways to run the Python interpreter. One is the interactive mode, another one is the script mode. In the interactive mode, we can type a Python statement on the prompt. Please note the Python prompt. It is the triple greater than symbol. So as soon as we press enter, the interpreter executes the statement and the result is displayed. So you can see here, this is the Python prompt. Okay. So as soon as we type any statement, that will be executed. When we are working or testing a single line code, then it is okay. But we cannot save the statements for future use, and we have to retype the statements to run them again. That is why we use the script mode for the traditional programming, okay, in which we will be writing the entire code and then we will execute it. So for that purpose, from the shell, go to file and choose the new file. Then after that, you have to save before executing. Okay. So when you are saving the file, please you have to note a very important point. By default, all the files are stored in the working directory of Python. Now, sometimes it may happen that the name of the file which you have saved is same as that of a Python module. In that case, the Python will refuse to start. The next time you will open the Python, it will refuse to start. So my suggestion is, choose a location, create a folder there, and in that folder only save all your Python programs. Otherwise, be ready for disaster. Now to run the Python program, simply, okay, click run, then run module, or otherwise you have to click F5. If the code is written correctly, you will see the output, otherwise you will see the error. Now, there are mobile users also, those who don't want to install any IDE on their mobiles. For them, we are having two online IDEs which I will recommend. One is the Google Collaboratory. The website is collab.research.google.com. The biggest advantage with this is, whatever program you write, it will be saved instantaneously. Okay, it gives the experience of a Jupyter notebook. The second is programmist.com, and in fact there are many more. You want to browse, okay, you can search, right? But my choice is Google Colab. Now, character set of Python. For any programming language, when we start, we have to see what is the character set. Okay. So the character set is comprised of letters, both lowercase and uppercase, digits, special symbols, white space. Okay. Now, tokens. What is a token? Token is the smallest individual unit in a program. In Python, following tokens are present: keyword, identifier, literal, operator, and punctuators. One by one, we will see them. Keywords. In any programming language, keyword is a word which is having a special meaning and which should not be used as a normal identifier. These are the words which are having predefined roles and we cannot use them except for that particular role. These are some of the keywords in Python. Now, sometimes with the change in versions, some keywords may be added or some may be dropped. Okay, so what keywords are exactly there in your Python installation? So if you type the following two commands on your command prompt, you will get to know what are the keywords. Okay. So in my installation, I typed this command. So this is the result. The next is identifier. The name itself tells that identifier is something that is going to identify something. Okay. These are the fundamental building blocks of a program and they are used to declare variable, objects, class, function, etc. Now, there are some rules for forming the name of the identifier. These are: an identifier is an arbitrarily long sequence of letters and digits only. Okay, it may be as long as you want, but it should be meaningful. It should be meaningful. That is a requirement from the programming side, not from the compiler side. Okay, Python does not have any restriction, whatever you want, as long as it follows the other rules. Okay, now the first character must be either a letter or underscore. In Python, do not start normally any identifier with an underscore, although the programming language does not allow, but due to some traditions we don't use, because when we are putting underscore, that has its different meaning, but there is no limitation. Now, in the arbitrary long sequence of letters and digits, no special character is allowed except for an underscore. In the programming world, the underscore has all the privileges to be a letter. Any identifier must not be a keyword. Python is a case sensitive language, hence, uppercase and lowercase letters are different. So, these are the basic rules. Okay. Now, we'll see some examples of valid and invalid identifiers. Serial underscore and O. It is invalid. Why it is invalid? It is invalid because of this dot. Okay, because except underscore, nothing else can come. Total underscore marks. This is perfectly alright. First underscore room. This is invalid because it is starting with a digit. It should start with an alphabet. Total dash marks. This is also invalid because of the presence of this dash. $100 because of this dollar. Okay, this is also invalid. Underscore percentage is perfectly all right. Total space marks. Now, because of the extra space, it is invalid. True. This is also invalid because true is a keyword. Right? Now, we come to the next category of tokens, that is the literals. Literals are the constant values, and constant means having a fixed value. Now, the different type of literals which are present in Python are string literals. Strings may be single line as well as multi-line. Numeric literals, that is integer, floating point, complex. Boolean literal, true and false. Special literal, none. And literal collections, that is list, tuple, etc. Operators. Operator is a symbol or word that performs some kind of operation on given values, and the values are known as operands. And after the operation, a result is returned. Python supports following categories of operators: arithmetic, relational, logical, assignment, bitwise, identity, and membership. punctuators. These are the symbols which are used in programming language to organize the sentence structure and indicate the rhythm and emphasis of expression, statements, and program structure. So here we are having colon, comma, quotes, single quotes, double quotes, triple quotes. Then we have the brackets and so on. Variable. A variable in Python represents a named location in memory that refers to a value, and the value can be used or altered during the execution of a program. Python variables are created by assigning desired values to them. X equal to 5, D equal to high, whatever. Everything is an object. Every variable is an object in Python. And it has three things: identity, type, and value. Identity. Identity is the variable's address in memory, which does not change once it has been created. To find out the identity of any variable or any object, we use the function id. For example, id of x. Next is type. That is the data type. Data type is a set of values and the allowable operations on those values. Next is value. To bind the value to a variable, assignment operator is used. For example, x equal to 1, 2, 5, 6. Mutable and immutable types. Mutable types are those whose value may change in place. For example, list, dictionary, and sets. Immutable types, change of the value will not happen in place. And if we modify a value, then it will rebuild the variable. For example, integer, float, boolean, string, and tuples. Since this is an introductory class, so we are just brushing up the terms. In the further classes, we are going to elaborate each and every term. Mutable and immutable means what? And what do you mean by rebuilding the same variable? This concept I want to clarify. When we say the value changes in place, that means if we change the value, id will not change. Okay. Whereas for immutable types, if we change anything, then its id will change. So that is called as rebuilding. So the same variable is now having a different address. Okay. So I think I have made my point clear. Otherwise, in the further sessions, it will be clarified. So that's all for today. Have a nice day.